I am Archprelate Alzor, and now we shall look at the Empire of Elysse. This collection of islands forms the heart of the Elyssian Empire and are home to one of the most powerful and wealthy human civilizations on Mortual. Although its territory on the mainland is no longer as vast as it once was, at the Empire's height, it has maintained its dominance through a strong maritime trade and powerful, well-trained military. Society. Elyssians are hard-working and a confident people who are fiercely proud of their history. Many reminisce over the glory days when much of the mainland was under the imperial control and all races paid homage. The Emperor or Empress rules completely as head of the nation and head of the church. While the capital and other major cities are walled, many other towns and settlements rely on border forts and the legions, who are some of the best trained and equipped. Relations. While few within the government and the heads of state still resent those nations that have broken away from the Empire, the majority see that Elysse is still as strong as it has always been. The Empire has kept close relations with Demia and have them as an ally. This, however, cannot be said for Asona, a nation the Empire has attacked and attempted to take over on numerous occasions, including a lengthy holy war. Trade with Asona is non-existent, and ships are not allowed in Elyssian ports regardless of situation or need. Regarding the other nations, the Empire remains neutral and will openly hold council with those that wish to. Lands. The islands have become individual town-states, each with a large port to house the navy and mercantile fleets. The capital Dunamon dominates its island completely and has turned it into a fortress. The remaining lands on the mainland are trade hubs filled with large grasslands, fertile and teeming with livestock. Dunamon, the capital of the Empire and the largest human city in Mortual. It holds the name of the greatest emperor Aemon, who united the island states under the imperial flag and turned them into a world power. The people here are always proud of their religion, and many visit one of the many churches and temples within the city walls. Beneath the mighty grandeur of the skyline and the vast wealth within the capital, the lower levels of the city are filled with poverty and crime, with all manner of services available for the right price. The town watch keeps the peace as best as it can, but the overlap of the criminal elements means that much goes unchallenged. Dynatir. The large tower in the shape of a triangular prism on the easternmost island is home to the Archmage and the centre of all magic within Elysse. Here the 9 high wizards instruct the arcane arts to those willing to pay the fee and show they have the understanding of the arcane. There are laws and rules regarding magic which the 9 uphold strictly, and any casting of magic without their authority is met with swift punishment. Dunamor, the second city of the Empire. It, like the capital, boasts the name of one of the Empire's greatest rulers who led a holy war against Asona. It is bustling and filled with traders and markets, and many wondrous items are available here. Should Elyssian Islands be invaded from the mainland and its border forts fail to stop any such force, this city would become the front line, and so has had much of the nation's wealth poured into it to upgrade its defences and fortifications to last years of siege if needed. Greenville. The large farming lands have become the food basket of the Empire, as the harvest yields huge amounts of foodstuffs that are sent throughout the provinces. In more recent times, the townships and settlements here were home to the 3 hunters, and where the heroes are said to have spent their final days on this earth. This next part on religion of Elysse I've decided to add, as I am the Archprelate of the Elyssian Empire, and I find it is important for the people new to these lands to understand us here in Elysse. The church is very dominant within the Elyssian Empire and over the years has grown considerably. While the head of the church is the emperor, it is actually run day to day by the Archprelate. This person acts as the church in both senate and the day-to-day runnings. Other religions are allowed in Elysse if relevant taxes are paid. These funds are then split between the church and the imperial bank to use as either see fit. After a minimum tenure, some ministers decide to join the military, and after extensive training are attached to the legions as a spiritual guide to the men and a representative of the emperor themselves. It is fair in the interest of bias that I mention that I, Alzor, Archprelate, was also one of these ministers attached to one of the legions of the Elyssian Empire. I learnt much during my time in the military, and I was there during the last Holy War to the Elyssian Emirates. While this is not the place for me to go into the details and the horrors of war that I have seen, I feel it's important to make the listener aware, as I do not wish for this series of historical knowledge to be construed as biased or misunderstood, especially when we get to those of the Elyssian Emirates. Thank you very much for listening. So this was the Elyssian Empire. Now this has got a bit more, you might notice a bit more fluff to it than some of the other nations, like the Kingdom of Damalor earlier in the series, and some of the ones to come up. That's because Elyss has always been, in some of the bigger campaigns we've run, was always like the home base of a lot of the games, because of it being an extremely religious culture. We wanted to do like a holy war for one of the campaigns, so we used Elyss. So that's why it's got a bit more bite to it and a bit more information than some of the other nations. Anyway, so that was the Elyssian Empire done. So next up in the Central Lands, we've got the Demon Freeholds, and then we're going to move down to the Sonar Emirates, and then on to the Khazarid and Khazarun and the old Dwarven kingdoms, the Kingdom of Elnar, and the small part of Elmarth that's within it, which will become explained. And then we'll have a look at all the major areas around the world, because you'll see it on the map, there are some areas that, although it's not a nation, they hold very important things from history and previous campaigns. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.